What up? This is Jay Alonzo, and today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download the title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT. You know, there's overacting.
There's underacting.
And then there's a weird blend of the two.
It's not even weird. It feels so natural with the craziness of this movie.
Yeah, because like you have overacting on the left.
Memorable. Very memorable overacting.
Underacting on the right.
Had no idea that person was going to become huge.
What they become.
10 years later.
And everything
20 years later.
And everything in between. Because don't forget, he had a few runs as far as like Blade. We'll get to that in a bit. But you never quite seen how flawless, I'm not gonna say flawless, how smooth it was to blend overacting and underacting.
Whenever somebody asks, what can I do with just $1 or with a low budget amount? This is the product you can make. It's not awful. It's not awful. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's solid.
If I'm coming to you and say, listen, I have $500. I have this one guy I know who can act, sorta. And I have a decent script. What can we do with this?
We're going to Hollywood, baby. That's what we're doing.
That's what it is. What's up? Welcome back to Back to Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago, right here on the Big Three, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. With me, of course, is
Danger Neff. David Danger Neff. What up, partner?
What is the deal, man?
How was your weekend?
The weekend was pretty solid. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, the weekend was fucking busy.
Yeah?
Me and you kicked it a lot.
We did.
We
caught Bad Boys.
Caught Bad Boys for Life.
Which you can see the review over on Reel It Back.
It's now
if you
up
go
and
to
running.
youtube.com.
Absolutely. We did It's a Vibe Thursdays, which had a great turnout.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back again this coming Thursday. And also spent some birthday quality time with a special friend. And it's been a busy weekend for sure. For sure. Now, before I get to other things, let's talk Bad Boys for a second.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. If you watch our review, it's gonna be a difference in opinion here for sure. For sure. I happen to like it a lot. And then the funniest thing was, I'm not gonna give my score here, but if you watch the review, just know that I think I've raised my score by a point. And the reason why, after giving it some serious thought, I got what I wanted.
Okay.
I legit got what I wanted.
Okay.
And you?
I thought it was okay. I thought the movie was about as mediocre. I don't remember what happened in the movie.
Oh, I do. I can tell you the whole thing.
I don't remember. I literally don't remember a lot about the movie. It was kind of all over the place for me. Like there were parts where it was supposed to be serious and it would hit its serious notes. Mm. When it was supposed to be funny, there were times I got a chuckle. There were times I was like, eh. In fact, I looked over at you. I could have swore you fell asleep at one point. I looked over, your eyes were closed, and I'm like, So then after hearing the review, I was like, I was like, is your nap a part of that review?
Did you not hear me laugh? I laughed quite hard, actually.
You did laugh at a couple of parts. I'm not denying you on that. I'm not trying to call you out.
Breathing heavy?
No, dude, you just look.
Don't forget.
Okay. Let me be fair.
Real quick. There was a guy between us. There was a guy between us.
There was a dude between us. I don't know what that dude was doing.
Why would he sit right there?
I don't know.
There was a guy between us.
All right, let me be fair. A long time ago, when Infinity War first came out, I went to the movies with Los, Jay, and of course me. And Jay over here, his sleep apnea kicked in right at 11:30, right when that
when the movie opens.
When that movie opened, like Jay's over here is like,
and he's not bullshitting you. Like seriously, when by the time we get the last trailer's playing and like movie begins. Went, oh, dope. I eventually do wake up.
I wasn't close with Los yet. Like we were cool, but like it wasn't like, Los and I talk like 2-3 times a week at least. Here's Jay snoring his ass off.
To be fair, I was getting
it's a long movie.
It's a long movie, and I hadn't got a whole lot of sleep lately at that time, so whatever. But no, I was up fully for Bad Boys for Life. Now there was a guy sitting in between us, and the guy that sat in between us came through a lot of hawking and gagging and weird moments as he sat there and breathed. Matter of fact, I don't know if you saw, but I had to move my drink to the other side where Los was sitting at because he kept coughing toward my fucking drink.
He also had no shoes on. Like I noticed that because I looked down. I'm a big dude. You guys see this. I looked down. His foot was like an inch hovering over my knee, and I'm like, nah, bro. You got like one way to sit in a movie theater. You either recline back like we all do, or you just straight up. You're like and you watch the movie. You're not doing none of this cross-legged shit. None of that. No.
He was sitting so comfortable. He was just
hawking and gagging. Thank you, white guy. Thank you.
Hey, listen, the white guy was between me and Jay, me and Dave.
And here's why. All right, so we bought our tickets, and the reason why there was
3 days in advance, by the way.
The reason why I did what I did was I wanted the aisle seat. I was assuming because I knew nobody else had finished buying their tickets. I thought somebody was going to buy the middle seat in between.
That's what I assumed. I thought you had that ticket.
No, I
didn't realize you sat in the aisle seat.
Right.
So, and then we get to the point where the movie's getting ready to start, and here comes like Buck from fucking Texas.
Here comes Booger McFarlane. He just comes out, the white version, just comes out of nowhere.
And he sits down. You know how some people like sit down with sound effects? It's like,
yeah, he was an old fat white dude in a skinny white dude's body. He
wasn't even that old. I think he was at best maybe like in his early 40s. But he was younger than that. He smelled like Heineken. He smelled like Heine's, and he just, dude, bro, listen, man.
That's too good.
Anyway,
he smelled like Heineken's.
But the review for Bad Boys for Life is up on the YouTube page. Really Back is back. Go ahead and check it out. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Obviously, Sony just announced Bad Boys 4 is happening now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, but if you like the movie that much, why won't you go and support the artist?
I like the movie. The last that you'll see. Fuck it, whatever. Anyway,
go catch the movie. It's a fine movie. It broke records.
It did break records
for the weekend of Martin Luther King. I don't. How do I say this as a white person? Happy belated Martin Luther King's birthday day. Is that how you say it? Is that how you do it?
When you say it like that, it does sound kind of awkward. Happy belated Martin Luther King Day.
But then it's not even Martin Luther King Day. It's Martin Luther King's birthday day. Never mind.
Happy MLK Day.
This is the existential crisis that men go through every single day.
Mm-hmm. Happy MLK Day.
MLK Day.
We'll leave it at that.
Happy belated MLK Day.
Absolutely. So, moving on. You talk some sports?
Yeah, let's talk some sports.
On a movie show, we'll talk sports.
Which is so weird. Honestly, there's no movie news out there. By the way, my weekend was great. I went out.
I didn't even ask how your week was.
No, but that's okay.
You were with me half the fucking weekend.
Yeah, and then the other half of the weekend was also great. I went out, and, watched some football. And shit was great. Anyways, yeah. So we know who the entries are going to be for the Super Bowl. AFC is being hosted by the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And I could have swore it was going to be Green Bay. But instead it's the San Francisco 49ers. Here's why. Because I could have swore it was going to be the State Farm Bowl. I was like, State Farm has been pumping out commercials like crazy. And they're just going to get fully represented in this game. Mm. But unfortunately, San Francisco had other plans. So they will be playing it. The Super Bowl is happening on the 2nd. In Miami.
Yeah.
The week after that is going to be our Oscar show, which we will be live streaming. Let me ask you, You being a non-sports fan, who you got?
I'm a sports fan. I'm not a huge football fan, no. But
Fair enough. Who you got?
I do like San Fran. I've actually followed San Francisco for quite some time, so I'm going to go with the Niners. Plus, it's your Cali team, so Cali all day, baby. San Francisco 49ers got that.
Fair enough.
I assume you're going the other way.
I am going to go for the Chiefs. Mainly because I don't care for San Francisco 49er fans. I've had a bad experience.
So fuck me, huh?
No, you're cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you're cool. You haven't thrown peanut M&Ms at me. Don't start. What are you doing?
There's no peanut M&Ms in there.
No, you were going to throw something much harder. But yeah, Super Bowl is going to happen on the 2nd. Afterwards, we are going to have our Oscar show. I'm excited. It's probably the first Super Bowl I've really wanted to watch in like 4 years.
Quite some time. I know the halftime show was what, J-Lo and Shakira.
Yeah.
So I know I saw a leaked set list. If this was really gonna happen, this is a stacked set list.
What's gonna be in there?
From what I've been reading, there's supposed to be a Beyonce appearance with Shakira to the Beautiful Liar. Ja Rule's supposed to come out and do I'm Real with J-Lo. Pitbull's coming out to represent Miami with Shakira, and I believe it's J-Lo as well. I want to say there's some Will.i.am being thrown around. Like it's their show.
That'd be cool with Will.i.am.
I think it's for it to be in Miami and to have these two ladies be your halftime performance. All right, let's see what happens.
Shakira sounded like a dude though. I ain't gonna lie. Hardy, take it time.
Hips don't lie. Should we go ahead and talk about our Black History Month?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
As you can tell, we're doing this way on the fly.
This is super on the fly. We have nothing to talk about except the movie that we're going to talk about. Next month, as you know, next month is February. Next month is Black History Month. And for the first time on Back to the Classes, we're going to go ahead and do what we call Artist Showcase Month. Now, we're not going to tell you the artists that we have decided that we're going to showcase next month on, but it's going to be all month next month. 4 episodes Back to the Classics showcasing this particular artist. We dug deep in the crates. The movies will still be 20 years or more older. I
felt like that was a lot of excessive homework that we did there.
It really was, because it was hard to not tackle certain ones. Like, no, that's not 20 years old yet.
Right.
Fuck.
It's not 20 years old until.
And then some that we wanted to do, we already did.
Right.
So to avoid revisiting certain things we've already done and to kind of keep the 20-year theme for the show, we've narrowed it down to 4 awesome movies for this particular artist. Cannot wait to do this for Black History Month. The Artist Showcase, you'll get that list soon. I'm going to assume we'll probably put it out next week, likely. But yeah, look out for the Artist Showcase, Black History Month, right here on Back to the Classics. Shout out to my beautiful baby girl, Naya. She turns 13 this week. I'm getting old. 13. I love you. I know you're not watching the show. You don't watch Boondock. You don't watch the movie we're talking about today. So happy birthday to you. I love you bunches. And a quick turn of a mood change real quick. Over the weekend, I learned that a good friend of ours, family friend, my guy Cameron Wobson, unfortunately passed away over the weekend. And it just so happens he is a huge fan of the show. And it also just happens that the movie that we're covering today is one of his favorite movies. So I'm going to dedicate today's show to my guy, Cam Wobson. Rest in peace, homie. We do miss you. We do love you. And, hey, man, you got your angels now, kid. And then tonight's show is for you. So, yeah. Should we get into... Oh, we got to pay some bills.
We got some bills to pay.
Yeah, let's pay some bills.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs, download it title free, and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audible.com/BEAT to get started. Why Audible? Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. Personally, I've been still chugging through this one Q84 book. Dude, like...
You're getting through it.
When the book dropped, it was like 1,000 pages. So to give you a description of it, it is a version of George Orwell's 1984 taught in the particular fashion of Japanese storytelling by Haruki Murakami. One of my personal favorites. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/beat. Again, that's audibletrial.com/BEAT for your free audiobook.
Oh, and real quick, I've also downloaded a new title that I'm listening to now. Kevin Hart's, I want to say, I forgot the actual title of it. It's, oh my God. I'm gonna sound like some cheese, but it's the one where he has the dogs on his head. Anyway, it's a great kickoff to the book. He himself's reading it to you. It's pretty dope. And if you haven't noticed, we are gonna skip 2-minute drill today. And
not because we wanted to.
Not because we wanted to. We just figured.
But the weekend did kind of get to us a little bit. So we wouldn't have been able to pretty much give an adequate showing of that.
Yeah.
Basically, Jay would have gotten his ass kicked by me again. And I think in the spirit of sport, considering Black History Month is coming up, that is of my due diligence to give him an equal opportunity.
Speaking from the white guy. Well, anyway, moving on. Today's movie, we are going to take it back to 2000 with the, I guess you could say, cult classic.
Well, the release date initially was in Denmark, November 19, 1999, but it did drop January 21st, 2000.
The Boondock Saints. Original release date, technically the original release date, January 21st of 2000. Shares opening weekend with Down to You. Is that with Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Is it?
And like Julia Stiles?
Is it that one or is it it's either that
somebody's
one.
A cook in this movie for sure.
It's either that one. It could be Down to You. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Production budget $6 million, box office total of $30,471.
All right. So yes, you heard that right. 30,471. Why in the world are we covering a movie that didn't even crack 35,000? We're gonna get to that here in just a second.
Currently sitting at a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, but amongst the fans, it's heaven.
It's a cult classic in every single word. This movie is one of those movies that the backstory to it is just as interesting, if not more interesting, than the movie itself. So this movie is created by a gentleman by the name of Troy Duffy. Basically, he got this vision from seeing somebody died, and the police are carrying out the body, or the ambulance are carrying out the body through a drug dealer's den. And so he came up with this like crazy script. It was this insane script, and it was a hot commodity. Like everybody wanted a piece of the script, and they wanted him to shoot it and whatnot. Miramax offered him $500,000 for the rights to the script. He was supposed to be attached for writing and directing, which he was, but he fucked around. Like literally that.
Fucked around.
Like he fucked around way too much. So, and then he said some shit about Harvey Weinstein when Hollywood was still cool with Harvey Weinstein, by the way. And basically was let go from the script. Had to pay back like almost $1 million or some shit like that. Right? So he then decides to finish the script, and he approached like everybody for this. Like before the two main stars that were attached, Sean Patrick Flannery and Norman Reedus, like Sylvester Stallone was supposed to be attached to it. Mark Wahlberg was supposed to be attached to it. Like there was some A-listers at the time.
Stallone to play the dad, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was something like that where at the time like A-listers were attached to the script. It could never get off the ground. Finally, he's able to shoot the movie, but he needs somebody to distribute it. So he goes to what's the name of that distribution company? It's like starts with an F.
It starts with an F. It is actually Franchise Pictures.
Right. Franchise Pictures. By the way, there were also worries from the movie because in 1999 was obviously the Columbine High School massacre. So this idea of like vigilanteism really wasn't playing out in Hollywood at the time.
Now, real quick, to capitalize on the Franchise Pictures thing, can you name 3 other movies that Franchise Pictures put out? Mind you, they're going away now.
I don't know.
So you have movies like Ballistics, X vs. Sever,
which is an awful movie,
horrible movie. You have Half Past Dead with Ja Rule and Steve Seagal.
Okay.
Okay. You have you have The In-Laws, which is I don't even know what that is. But you have Fear.com with
Another bad movie.
Angel Eyes with Jennifer Lopez.
That one was really solid.
3,000 Miles to Graceland.
That one was also solid.
Get Carter.
Which one?
Get Carter.
Which is a really good movie.
The Art of War with Wesley.
Which was fine.
And my personal favorite, well, before that, Battlefield Earth.
Which may be one of the worst things to ever made.
But my personal favorite, The Whole Nine Yards. Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry.
Another really solid movie. So they come out of the woodwork and they basically finance and distribute out this movie. And they were only able to find 5 theaters to play this movie, which is why it only turned $30,000 in a theatrical release. That's insane to think about, of making that little money on it based upon the production. But that also means that because of the theater average, it was enough to push DVD release for it, because DVD release isn't a requirement for this. When DVD releases gets released for this movie, the movie turns $50 million in profit, which is obviously 1,000 times percent of what the budget is. And it's a huge cult classic amongst fans. I personally think it's just okay, but the story behind it was just so insane to think that this guy like screwed around, was able to find something, and still turned $50 million out of it. But he got no royalties from it because of some bullshit with the franchise pictures, until he settled out of court with them.
Right.
But man, it was just insane. That's like the 5-minute sum up of just getting this movie made.
So I know this movie, it is set in Boston. These two American twin brothers, Connor and Murphy McManus, played by the now crazy famous Norman Reedus. And
Sean Patrick Flannery has been around now.
Oh, yeah, Sean Patrick Flannery's been around now.
Norman Reedus, for those who aren't familiar with that name, for whatever reason, if you've been living under a rock for the last 10 years, plays Daryl in The Walking Dead.
Right.
Is essentially the face of the franchise at this point. It's true.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So they are. This movie is kind of weird because it opens up in a church, and in this church, they're doing a ceremony, and they're kind of throwing out the name, the fate of a woman by the name of Kitty Genovese, and the two brothers are attending mass, and it's super religious, but they don't really throw it into your face too much in this movie.
Actually, not at all.
They could have. They really could have.
They make it known that they're definitely Irish, and they make it known that they're definitely in Boston, and there are certain parts of Boston where it's incredibly Irish. So I do appreciate the fact that they don't go above and beyond to let you know this is where we're Irish.
They both have tattoos on their fingers. One of them reads Veritas, and the other one reads Aequitas, which is truth and
justice.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
You are correct. Truth and justice on their
Why
hands.
don't you look like that?
Because it was going to be a 2-minute drill question.
No,
Truth and
justice. Yep.
Truth and justice. That's right. But later on, they go and they're celebrating because it's St. Patrick's Day with some friends, when these 3 Russian mobsters like come in, and it's just, it's a pretty typical setup. Basically, this Russian gang is buying up all the property there, and they're shutting down the bar that's going to be there. And because they bought the property on it, they think that, oh, well, now it's just okay for us to tell you when you can close the bar.
Right.
Even though it's St. Patrick's Day in Boston, which is at least 60% Irish. No doubt about it. But a brawl ensues, and in the morning it's a little weird because you're seeing in the morning you kind of get like a retroactive look into a crime scene, because you're seeing 2 dead bodies of the 2 Russians out in the alleyway. But one of them kind of looks like he has like plaster on his ass or a diaper almost.
It looks like a diaper.
It does. It looks like a diaper,
Mhm.
and you're not really understanding what's going. And this is where Duffy does really well with this portion of the movie, because what he does instead is he tells the story backwards, and he does it through the brilliance of William Defoe, who plays Agent Smecker.
Mhm.
And Agent Smecker is a gay police officer, and this is absolutely hit on in this movie for a reason. Because Duffy wanted to show that not all police officers basically have to be. He wanted to break the machoism in the movie a little bit, and it kind of goes through this cool scene of making fun of the stupid police officer that's also there, who thinks that like a big giant basically gorilla smashed these two dudes up. Mind you, these two dudes are easily 6'6", 400 pounds, no problem, and it's kind of retroactively like painting back the scene and is able to kind of determine things that happened there. Then it turns into a flashback scene. And you want to go and talk the flashback?
Yeah. So we're now in the police station, right?
Not quite.
We're not there yet.
There's a flashback scene that happens beforehand to kind of show exactly what happened to the Russians.
All right, you take that to the police station.
Okay, fair enough. So basically, you get the scene of the Russians show where these guys are, break into the home, and it's actually kind of a powerful scene because because they chain up Flannery to the toilet bowl and says, we're not going to take care of you, we take care of your brother.
Your brother.
And basically like pulls Norman Reedus back as if going to the alleyway. This is a little weird though, because it's broad daylight. I don't know why he didn't just off both of them there. It was a very weird decision, but it was basically a set piece. And it's kind of unique because Flannery really sells this part of like trying to break out of his handcuffs to this toilet.
Yeah, he
like smashes his body into it.
He
to kind of loosens
really throws his body into the toilet itself.
You get this really great shot of the look of his hands as blood is dripping off of them. I'm like, yeah, man, like that's you're showing some
dedication.
Shit right there. That's dedication. That's just good scenery. So then you kind of then he climbs, because they're on the top floor. Obviously, he climbs out to the fire escape and throws the toilet on top of said guy, who, by the way, in the brawl, the reason why he's wearing diapers is because they literally lit his ass on fire. So that's clearly bandaged from the burns.
Can we talk about when the toilet actually hits him?
Go ahead.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and breaks on top of that.
That's totally not how it would work with the toilet, but
not
no.
at all. But God, you know what I'm saying? I remember that scene even when I first saw this movie, and in that scene where he does throw the toilet and then lands on the guy. I was like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So then he also jumps off the top of this fire escape onto this other guy, and they basically subdue and kill him as well. Then it goes into a hospital scene where the guys are basically like being held up, and this was a really, really, again, nice touch to show chemistry here. They have their friend Rocco, Dave Della Rocco, also known as the Funny Man, who kind of plays a third leg in this movie, but he overacts a lot in this movie, but at the same time, he's also kind of hilarious.
When underacting meets overacting,
yes,
it's like a weird soup.
It is, because the first thing he pulls out is he literally pulls out the rosary beads that the guys always wear that are on them, but couldn't because they were getting ambushed by these guys. So that just kind of shows like the importance of their friendship there. Like he understood what had meaning to them right then and there. I don't know. I just think that's good acting. We finally go to this police station. I'm gonna let you take over.
And so at this point now, the local news and the police are pretty much look at them as heroes,
right? A little bit of vigilante justice, right?
But yes, it's definitely some vigilante justice for sure. Now they do turn themselves into the police station, and they do meet up with Smecker, and he interrogates them for sure. Now they retell the incident to Smecker, and at this point now he declines to press charges, which is, I find, cool, but at the same time, it's like, this is real life. Vigilante justice or not, you're still going to jail for this shit.
Right. You're at least getting a trial.
Right.
Now, you could be acquitted from that trial.
Right. Now, he allows him to spend the night in the holding cell to avoid, to get attention from the news people who are outside trying to get this official look at the McManus brothers, you know?
And I got to comment just real quick because, again, this was kind of decent storytelling that's going on there. The guys had actually stolen the Russians' pager, off the dead body before they left the scene of the crime. And as they're talking with Smecker, they go and they start first of all, it's super arrogant, but they talk in Gaelic, they talk in Russian, French, German, Italian, and in Spanish. All right. To show that even though they're poor, these guys they're not idiots. Like they knew
they're actually rather bright.
They're pretty brilliant in their own ways. This plays into importance because the beeper goes off as they're getting ready to go into the holding cell. And the first thing and the thing that happens is Flannery goes to the payphone over there, puts in the quarters, and speaks to the guy in Russian, which is the entire point of showing why they had that. So a good continuity there, even though you're just showing whatever.
They did receive a calling from God, and what they believe is a calling from God.
Okay, so there was supposed to be a real scene with this, you could tell, but it just kind of came out cheesy in my eyes because you get the cracks in the ceiling, and the crack shows what's supposed to be holy water that drips on these guys, and they're like rebaptized and given this new chain on life to do whatever you want to it because that is God's blessing.
To hunt down the wicked so that the innocent will flourish.
Right. And that's what they decide to do. That's where I had to kind of take the movie, and it's like, okay, so this is going to be the thing now. The next thing they do is they resolve to rid Boston of all evil men, which is weird. And they even talked about that. Like, how do we determine? Oh, well, we're the ones that are going to determine that.
Right.
And it's like, okay, fine.
You're not the law, but
right. But,
okay, whatever.
Okay, fine. They learn of a meeting of Russian syndicate bosses at this hotel. We also get the introduction of Ron Jeremy as the right-hand man of Vadakevian syndicate. Something like that, right?
Ron Jeremy, the porn star, by the way.
Yes, the actual porn star is playing the right. He's like playing an Elvis type character, which is just weird.
Yakavetta.
Yep, you got it.
Yakavetta. Yep.
So they go through like this whole little joke thing. As you can tell, like this movie isn't sensitive to anybody. Like they drop the N-word, a couple of times. They fag a couple of times, and I'm like, oh wow, like you guys just like go for it just to go for it. Like even Smecker, because they show a scene where Defoe is clearly like shirtless with another guy in bed, right? And the guy goes and he's trying to like cuddle with him, and he goes, "What are you trying to do?" And he's all like, "I just wanted to cuddle." He's like, "You fag." He like walks out. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know.
So,
do we let that fly today? Probably not.
So in the process, like these guys, they figure out this big meeting that's going on, and they fall through the ceiling with this magic rope, which is what I'm going to call it. It catches both of them. They're spinning upside down in the air,
killing everybody.
They kill all 9 guys that are there. And in the process, they decide to start putting these little pennies on the eyes because in Greek mythology, to pay the ferryman to have your soul go to the underworld, which is Charon, you put pennies on your eyes to pay the fare for you to basically go. That's, or right. Technically, it's drachma, but they don't have drachma, clearly. But Rocco comes walking into the scene, and Rocco, this is where this movie kind of turns a little bit on his head, because I was perfectly fine with this movie not having a Rocco play a big part in this movie. But Rocco plays a too big of a part.
He commits himself to helping them out. And being like that third guy.
Yeah. And it kind of goes a little wacky almost, because he's just kind of there, and he's kind of all over the place. They like set up this plan. It was a weird scene. They start setting up this plan of ideology and philosophy on their at their kitchen table, and in the process, like out of frustration, Rocco goes, God damn it, and slams his fist into the table where a gun is sitting there, and the gun shoots his girlfriend's cat and kills the cat.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, the fuck was that?
Did you have to kill the cat?
It was so weird. Like it's such a it's so out of place.
Now this is the same night where they do hunt down what's his name, Vincenzo Lampazzi, the underboss of the.
I think that would be the next night,
the very next night. Well, after he commits to
after he commits, because what winds up happening, and the reason why he commits is because they said they totally set him up, and they called it out, and again, possibly good writing on this. They sent him in with a 6-shooter, but there's 9 dudes there. The math doesn't quite add up there.
It's funny.
So it is a little funny, but he's now realizing that he was set up. He goes and he tries to smooth things over, and Rocco goes and shoots up like the bartender that's full of the informant and the 2 guys that think he's like the funniest dude out there.
Right.
But instead of leaving town, they decide to double down, and the next person they go after is Ron Jeremy's character. What's his name? Vincenzo
Lapazzi.
Yeah, Vincenzo Lapazzi. And they kind of shoot up this peep show area.
Yeah. And of course, Ron Jeremy, being who Ron Jeremy is, he would die in the peep show.
Well, of course he would. So
why not,
Concerned that this is starting to get out of hand, Papa Joe, who is the head of the Yacavetta crime gang, contacts a hitman, El Duce, or the Duke, to deal with them. And Rocco brings up his next target, and this may be my iconic scene because at all this time, like, Smacker's trying to figure out, is this another team or is it these guys? And if it's these guys, how can we link them to these to the scene? So Rocco has a personal vendetta against this guy. They shoot up this entire place, right? As they're walking out of this place, clearly like killing like 12 guys in there, right? Billy Connolly, who was recently paroled out of prison, comes out with 6 guns on his vest and just starts lighting up the entire place. And it's glorious to look at.
The body count in this movie is fucking ridiculous.
It is a little ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Somehow, none of the guys die. Rocco gets his finger shot off. And the recap of the scene from Smecker is amazing because because again, the overacting really plays here. He's all like, there was a firefight! Like you're hearing opera music in the background, and it looks like he's all trying to conduct this firefight.
And if you know Willem Dafoe's face, it's very, very animated,
very distinct.
And so when he's really like into it, he's into it.
Oh man, it is so sold by him at that point. They go back to the safe house to basically treat their wounds. But in the process, as they get ready to. One of the things that they did was like the blood that they had on scene that was theirs, they treated it with ammonia. Again, clever Deus Ex Machina, which is fine, but clever. But they find the finger. So now they can link the guys. There.
At least Rocco.
And Rocco very likely was going to give up the other guys.
Clearly
was going to give up the other guys. In the process, though, they decide to go ahead and go after Papa Joe. They get ambushed, and they get captured. Rocco gets shot twice in the chest. Before all of this happens, Smacker goes to a confessional and confesses to a priest that he's never really confessed before, and basically says, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and decide to help them out. This ending kind of battle is, and again, a little weird, but he comes out, Smacker comes out in full-on drag. It's William Defoe in drag.
I can't help but wonder if this is going to be my cut that out or make Smacker that full, but for some reason, when he comes out in full drag, I'm just like, ugh.
Now, It is what it is. That's all I'm gonna say.
Awkward silence, like,
It is what it is. I'm not gonna really. It's tough for me to cut it out because it does play a bit of a vital role. Because you have to be undercover. I don't know if that was his original plan because he even said like afterwards he was like too far. I've gone too far.
I've gone too far.
But you know who he looks like. You remember Uncle Buck, the movie? Okay, John Candy's girlfriend.
Oh God.
He looks kind of like her, and it's a little creepy.
With that jawline?
They have the same jawline.
Jesus Christ.
They have the same jawline. I'm serious. After we're done here, I want you to look it up.
I'm gonna Google it now, actually, while you're talking.
So as it goes, Smecker goes, he gets knocked out because Connolly, come to find out, is also related to these boys. Although they never like cover that, but apparently he actually is their father.
Right.
Never cover that, which is a bit of a hole in this movie that makes no sense. The ending scene of this movie, they go and there's like, it's a court trial. They expect Papa Joe to get acquitted. And in the process of three guys.
Oh, you are incredibly correct. She does look a lot like Willem Dafoe.
In drag.
In drag. Jeez, Louise. All right. Continue.
So, anyway, so the court case is going on. And they pretty much go, the three of them hold up the entire court case, and they basically shoot Papa Joe after doing their famous prayer that's going on through it, and basically escape out of the way. Now this actually turns to the ending scene is kind of getting the question of everybody back in 2000. Vigilante justice, how do you feel about it? I felt like this was legitimate questions that people were asking.
Yeah, well, surrounding the movie for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because we're talking about a time when, a more sensitive subject like Columbine was like, yeah, so what do you do in this situation? Like, you can always run and hide, or you can take justice into your own hands.
Right.
I don't think that same question kind of, I think it's more prominent today than it's ever been.
It's probably definitely been on the minds of everybody. I mean,
absolutely.
There's a shooting that happens every day. We know that.
Right.
But it's funny, like seeing that in 2000 and like saying here in 2020, and you're like, that hindsight of 2020 is coming right back.
It really is. And then the movie does end off with them being dubbed the Saints, which I thought was a great way to actually end the movie.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think looking back on this movie, like, it's not that I didn't like the movie. It just, I really felt all $6 million of the budget in this movie.
You can literally watch all $6 million of this movie. Like, I know $2 million went to that exactly.
So here's what I mean by that. There are some scenes in this movie, for example, when you're seeing the toilet fall on top of the guy. All right. You can clearly see that there's three guys up above, like pushing the toilet off. So it's like, okay, so you didn't have enough money for a good editor.
Yes, but those problems have also happened in a lot of different things. Like, for example, not to bring back to 2020. Have you seen? You probably haven't, but Tyler Perry has a movie called A Fall from Grace.
No,
that's on Netflix right now. It's fucking horrible. But there's a guy in the scene. It's not even an action scene, but there's a guy drinking water that's clearly in a completely empty cup. And it's a camera that focuses directly on him drinking air. That's what you call a budget.
You know, that reminds me, you ever seen Jaws 4 with Michael Caine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Explain this to me. On one scene, Michael Caine falls into the water. What happens when you fall into water? You get wet, right?
That's very true.
You're drenched. Why in the next scene on the same boat he is dry?
Yep.
I'm like
nothing ever happened.
Did this not happen like at all? We need to do an episode strictly based on like movie goofs.
Call it the blooper show.
Yeah, call just that, and it doesn't have to have like once a quarter.
Oh,
we look back.
God, that should be dope.
like look back on all these movies, and continuity mistakes is one thing. Right.
Full-blown goofs?
Yeah, full-blown goofs is what I'm looking for. Like Star Wars, A New Hope, the stormtrooper that smacks his head. on the roof of the thing. Somebody showed a meme that they show the stormtrooper smacking his head, and then in the next scene it's Snoke, but it's Snoke that has a thing that's indented on his head, and they were like trying to make it seem like it was that stormtrooper instead.
No. That's like it was something like Bad Boys. Like Bad Boys 2 has when they're escaping from Tapia's mansion, and Mike Lowry jumps out of the window. Mind you, there's no hat there. But he's driving the van, and there's a fucking hat on now. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you lost the hat when you jumped out the house.
I know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's Boondock Saints. A movie like this, the sequel came out in what, 2009?
Huh?
The sequel came out in 2009. Right?
Yeah, and nobody remembers it.
Right, and then they had a planned third movie, but then they canceled it because both Norman Reedus and Flannery walked away from it.
Well, Reedus just talked about this like 3 months ago, and he says, I would be open to totally doing a third Boondock Saints if we can find a good enough script and everything to go along with it. It has to make sense for me and Flannery to actually do so. Flannery's kind of a weird guy anyway. He's been in a few TV shows. He was in like Young and the Restless. He never got the takeoff they should have had, especially like he did Powder. He was Powder in the movie Powder. Yeah. That was a really solid movie for him. Mm-hmm. Never got bigger than that.
I mean, sometimes you play a pale white guy. That's kind of what happens.
It kind of reminds me of Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Aaron Paul. Yeah, very similar story.
He's typecasted at this point.
So let's knock out some takeaways. Let's give you that guy work.
I gotta give it to Willem Dafoe. I have to give it. I kind of want to give it to Flannery simply because of the toilet scene, because that was just well shot and it felt something. But I'm gonna give it to Defoe because Defoe, you can't take your eyes off of him at any point in this movie. He's so eccentric and weird as a detective, but you can't help but think that he's also a little bit brilliant throughout this. So that was something that Duffy wanted to hit on. That, yeah, he could be weird and eccentric, but he's still getting the work done.
Right.
And he was.
That chick award.
There are no prominent chicks in this. Seriously. Like I hate saying that, but there is literally no prominent female in this. I cannot give that chick award to any female.
Not even the forensic lady one? No? Anybody?
Forensic lady one.
Okay.
Sure.
That full of work.
I gotta give it to Rocco. Like, he's just the movie needed him, but the movie also really did not need him involved at all. He was kind of one of those guys that he did a really great job overacting his entire role. You get the feeling that he was on cocaine most of the time.
He probably was. Cut that out.
I wouldn't cut it out. I would make some scenes faster. I would make it flow a little bit better. Some of those philosophy scenes, those are nice to have in principle. You know what? There's a cut that out. There's a scene like right when they rescue Rocco and before he's getting to decide, there's like this like in between philosophy scene that's going on. I'm just like, it's not really needed. I don't know.
Iconic scene.
I'm gonna give it to the ending scene more than anything else.
The courthouse shootout.
Yeah. No. Yeah, the courthouse. When they get Papa Joe, because that's what it feels like. Like that movie, you can really just say, how would you describe this movie? And you could literally say that scene and you'd be like, okay, cool. I kind of get what this movie's all about. Like, it just personifies everything that Boondock Saints was about.
Gotcha.
My guy, who's getting you that guy award?
It's going to be a split. I'm going to give it to both Flannery and Reedus because above all else, I love their chemistry.
They had great chemistry.
They work so well together. I'm really forced to believe that they are brothers, and they care, especially Flannery towards Reedus as like, I guess he's older by a couple minutes.
Something
like that. But you can just tell he has that love for him and the way he displays that love in this movie. Like, that's me and my brother. Like, that's really how brothers would act to each other.
Yeah,
sure.
it felt brotherly.
Very brotherly. Yeah.
That chick award.
Forensic woman number 1. There's nobody else in there.
That's the one big problem with this movie. There is no prominent positive female in this movie.
Not at all. Not at all.
But then again, I wonder if the movie might have been a little bit, stuck into going into a formula by doing so because of how this movie is shot.
Yeah.
That Fool Award.
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go Rocco. Fun character to have, but he's just one of those guys. Like he's there to basically get shot and lose limbs and that whole thing. And shout out to the actor who plays him, but you're expendable, bro.
That actor who played him was actually a writer in this movie.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Oh. David Della Rocco is the name of the writer. Also the name of the character. Also, yeah, David Della Rocco.
Playing David Della Rocco.
This is the only movie he ever acted in.
Okay.
Cut that out.
Cut that out. I'm going to go ahead and go with the scene when Defoe is clearly in bed with just got done having... and he calls the guy a fag. And he's like, wait a minute. It's kind of hypocritical of you, isn't it? But, whatever. Yeah, that one. Only because... Even watching the movie now and hearing the slur drop, you're like,
who said that?
Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, I give you that.
And
iconic scene. I struggle with this one. I was gonna do the courthouse scene, but there's something about the scene.
Willem Dafoe in drag.
No, but it does include Willem Dafoe. It's something about the scene. When they're shooting, the brothers are shooting, and Defoe's kind of like
here, and he's doing
the air guns thing, the finger gun thing. It just looks so cool to me because he's just like,
he was feeling it.
He was feeling it, and they're just laying
there was a firefight.
There was a firefight. Yeah, I thought that was just a super dope scene, man. And it really shows a nice sense of style with this movie, man. I like it a lot.
Very cool.
Let's get into some quick hits. Sir Billy Connolly was so stoked to be playing against type in the role of Il Duce, and having so much fun playing a psycho with guns strapped all over him that they had to add the large cigar the character incessantly smokes because unless they stuck something in his mouth, he simply couldn't stop smiling. The church where Connor and Murphy attend Mass Church of the Covenant is not a Catholic church, but a Lutheran one. No Catholic churches in the area would allow filming in their sanctuaries due to their objection to the plot of the movie. Troy Duffy's script was inspired by his disgust at seeing a drug dealer taking money from a corpse across the hall from his apartment. Duffy, who was working as a bartender and bouncer, had never written a screenplay before. The word fuck and its derivatives are used a total of 246 times.
Wow.
Not a fuck.
I'll be honest, I didn't really count that many.
Me neither. I mean, you do hear them, but it's not so like, damn, you're really dropping these F-bombs, aren't you?
It was just so well integrated into the script.
The movie was shot in 32 days.
I could see that.
Let me see. Here we go. In order to appear taller on screen, Willem Dafoe wore platform shoes during filming. This is especially noticeable at his first appearance when he crouches down near the body in the alleyway. And last but not least, Patrick Swayze, Robert De Niro, starred Kenneth Branagh, and Kevin Spacey passed on the role of Paul Smecker. So you have some names attached to this movie for a little while.
I mean, they were truly going for it,
And they kind of settled for Willem Dafoe. But at the same time,
But can you really picture anybody else but Willem Dafoe?
At this point,
this role?
definitely not.
No. He this is actually, I would probably say, one of his most legendary roles, good or bad.
So that's
I really hope 10 years from now he gets Cecil B. DeMille award.
At this point, man, he has one of them faces where he's so easy to draw. You can literally draw Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
But that's the show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us again. Once again, huge shout out to my guy and recipes to my guy, Cameron Wapsom. Love you, my brother. This episode was for you. I hope you're watching Up Above. This is one of your favorite movies, as you told me before. And switching over to my guy, Dave. Thank you, my dude, for putting up with me and my shit and just being there for me, man. That's why that's
my pleasure.
That's why that's my guy right there. Dave, let people know where they can find you.
When I get this tear out of my eye, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter on Dave and Danger Neff. I'm the co-host here at Back to the Classics. A lot of fun activities been going on there on the Facebook group page, which I'm going to let Shay take over. But yeah, David Danger Neff.
All right. And you can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonso. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Like Dave says, we have a lot of fun activities on the Facebook group. Back to Classics, a movie talk group on Facebook. Go ahead, jump in there and join the conversations. We have been having a blast in the movie talk group. It's been fun. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, jump on there and just rock out with us, man. Especially going into the spring season, summer season. We'll talk about the trailers that are going to come with Super Bowl. That's a highlight for sure. That's coming up. Of course, Spoiling the Classics, another Back to Classics movie talk group, head up by Danger Enough over there. Jump on in there and join that conversation. It is a blast as well. I really want to do this blooper thing now.
I think it'd be
it's
a lot
inevitable.
of fun.
We have to do it now.
Once a quarter, we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, my other show, Turn My Mic Up, hip hop show, what I do with Big Lowe's, Hollywood Kev, King Corey, and RJ every Friday on YouTube. Go ahead, jump on in there. Besides that, man, it's been a solid kickoff to 2020. We're almost out of the first month. Damn, time is going by fast.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. Way too fast. Next week, slow down, or I need to have more time off.
We may have a guest on next week. I'm still waiting on confirmation for that, but I think the guest on next week is a familiar face. So I think you guys will enjoy that. With that being said, thank you guys so much. Shout out to the center folks out there. Thank you guys for rocking with us for as long as you have. And of course, with that being said, this is Back to Classics. I am Jay Alonso. With me, as always,
I'm Danger Neff.
See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.